Welcome to 1010's podcast. My name is Michael with Adam and Robbie. What is up, guys?
Not a whole lot.
No, we haven't done anything in the last week or two that
things.
might be memorable or something that we might want to talk about.
Nah.
I don't have anything
Can't
specific.
think of anything new? No, not at all?
My car's still broken. It's whatever.
Mine's broken too a little bit. We'll get to that.
Robbie, what'd you do to your car, buddy?
I slid it.
You slid it?
Yep.
Did you slide it into something?
I don't remember. I don't know what I hit.
He slid it off of things is really the more
You slid it
accurate
off
term.
of something, and as a result, a component of the car that was, how should we say, fiberglassed in, is broken. Slightly.
Yes.
So that's something for people to stick around and listen for.
we'll
That's
tell-
called a teaser,
foreshadowing.
and they do that in like professional TV shows and stuff.
If
And
we had a commercial, we'd throw it right now.
bam, commercial.
Yep.
But you know what we could do? We could do Adam's opener, if you know what I mean. Presented by Eyes Up Auto Art.
That's kind of a commercial.
Kind of.
So this week, I want to talk about one of the few cars we've ever wholeheartedly agreed upon as being amazing.
I highly doubt that even exists.
The IQ.
That is amazing.
And more specifically, its more luxurious brother, the Aston Martin Cygnet.
Which I think is dumb, just for the record.
What?
Do you?
I think the Cygnet is
So, well, apparently you're wrong because
dumb. Okay.
so I stumbled across this article on Drive Tribe, right? So the Cygnet was originally listed for £31,000 in the UK, and Aston Martin hoped to sell 4,000 a year, right?
Okay.
But they only sold about 150 over 2 years in the UK.
So dumb.
Plus a
Yep.
few more overseas. Now, 4 years after production ended, almost all Cygnets that are for sale and selling at 100% of their original sale price.
So people are
Which
dumb.
makes
is what
them
that sounds like.
A better investment than an Aston Martin DB9.
Wait a second.
That's a bold statement.
So they only sold like a couple hundred of these things?
150, isn't that what you just said?
From what I'm reading here, there are, I would say, less than 200 in existence.
Where's the rest of the other 4,000?
No, they hoped to make.
Oh, they didn't
They
even
hoped
make
to
them.
sell.
When they sold one the first month, they went, maybe we should scale back on production.
I think their goal was to sell 4,000 a year,
Oh.
and they only managed to sell 150 in the UK over 2 years, and then what they just say is a few more overseas.
Man.
So 3.
So if you have one of the States, you're a rock star.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are.
You're still
There's-
driving around in a Toyota with an Aston Martin badge on it. You are no better than anybody that has a BMW and puts an M badge on it. You are in the
Wait, dude.
same category for me.
Because this is
The only difference is
this
you
isn't
have
any different than
quilted
like,
seats.
this isn't
and you
any
look like a
different
douche.
than base models and ups. This is like Nissan Infiniti or Honda Acura. It's the same thing.
He's kind of got a point there. I would rock it.
Yeah, but it's not even the same company. It's just, it wasn't even a money grab necessarily for Aston Martin. It was just we need some help with our emissions output. In general, can we sell some stupid little cars? It's a lifestyle product is what that is. It's a hairdryer.
I think it looks fantastic, though. I love it.
It doesn't, though.
I think it looks
Buying
so
it as
good.
a Toyota or as a Scion
No,
is
it looks
fine.
I think it looks way better than the
No,
IQ.
but the thing is, though, you're taking like a $13,000 car and turning it into what? How much? 38,000 pounds.
31,000 pounds. 32 if you bought the CVT.
Why would you buy the CVT?
They only came with the quote big 1.3 liter engine, whereas the IQ is also offered in a 1 liter as well.
So it's got a Toyota engine in it as well. It's just a Toyota with an Aston Martin badge on it, and it came with pillows or something in the back.
It's got
So
a
stupid.
full leather interior and all that stuff, and
If that
I could take it to an auto upholsterer and have him line everything with leather.
That's what I would
for
do.
way less than
if I bought
$20,000.
if I had an IQ that is exact, I would buy some cheap Aston Martin Cygnet eBay kit and take it to an upholsterer, and it'd be baller status.
Racer status.
They're so cool. I love them so much.
I love an IQ because it's simple and honest, and it's a cheap car, and it's what we talk about. Like, you know, we want cheap cars to be able to purchase. A Cygnet is stupid.
It's double the
It's
price.
just dumb. Yeah, or more than double. It's just so stupid. It's dumb. I don't like it.
I thought you said we all agreed on this, Adam.
Apparently,
we agree on the IQ.
I thought we all liked the Cygnet as well.
No.
My mistake. I should have known that Michael hated
before we started
something in this. So I still desperately want to see like a full street mod front wheel drive IQ build with slicks sticking out all the way around and like a 2-liter turbo motor swapped into it or something crazy.
Are you Google fooing, Robbie?
Yeah, let's see what we can.
Wouldn't that be cool? Somebody did make like an IQ race car looking thing, but it was more of a SEMA show car that just looked like a race car.
That doesn't count.
Right.
Adam, this is what you need to do. This is your calling. You need to buy an IQ and turn it into a time attack car.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, that's you. It is you. Get some sponsors together. Call around to some people.
I wonder.
Call TRD. See what they're doing.
The going rate on an IQ is these.
They're not that cheap.
No, they hold their value.
Because I was like, maybe I should buy one as a city car. They're not that cheap. Couldn't find one below like $9,000 for an old Scion.
That is the smallest 4-seat car ever produced. Like so that's what they claimed it as.
Yeah, about $10,000.
$10,000. Yeah.
Oh, this one's 7.
There we go.
How many miles are on that? It's a Toyota, so it doesn't really matter. But
1,300.
You know where?
What? Only 1,300 miles?
Yeah.
Oh.
Send me that
link.
You know the secret to this is Copart.
To find one that's been wrecked?
Get a wrecked IQ on Copart. Nobody is doing reparables on an IQ. You know?
That's the way to go.
Yeah, if you could find one somewhere. Someone's bashed one.
That would be sweet.
It's been written off by the insurance company.
Yeah.
Bam. Time attack car.
Put a K-swap in it.
K-swap it.
That's the cool thing.
Put a supercharger on it. What? Shit be wild, bro.
A little bit of aero, and I'll be up there with James just wheeling.
Man, that'd be a terrifying little race car. That's
I think
for sure.
that it's probably too short of a wheelbase to work
You would just roll like a ball
I feel
to the next corner.
To the corner.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be real tail happy with that. I assume it's got a wicked short wheelbase.
Oh yeah,
it's got to be sketchy.
Itty-bitty.
It's got to be sketchy at speed.
There's
a reason it
do you
only
know the
came,
top speed off the top?
There's a reason it only
IQ?
came with a 1 and 1.3 liter naturally aspirated motor.
It's got to be like 110 miles an hour, don't you think?
Gear limited.
78 miles an hour.
No one, just 78.
No, just 78.
78 miles an hour. That's surprising.
That's depressing. That's not even the speed limit in Utah. In some places in Utah
or Texas.
Or
you
Texas.
can't drive it on the interstate in Texas.
You could
without being a dick and having to.
Yeah. You would for sure die in Texas because you could not merge at speed in Texas.
No.
There's a reason all these crazy like multi-thousand horsepower cars come from Texas. It's because they need that just to survive there. So,
what are you looking at?
I'm watching a video of a guy at an IQ at max speed. It looks
just
super
hammering it.
Yep, it looks like it's about ready to just roll into the ditch.
I feel like it'd be really shaky. Yeah,
you'd have like to this.
You'd have, that looks.
Oh God, that looks terrifying. Yeah, the whole thing is kind of vibrating.
So see, it's not a good fast car. So the second best option is to make it a luxurious city car.
No, it's just to drive it around the city and not look like a dick because you have an Aston Martin badge on your Toyota.
But you can tell girls you've got an Aston.
Yeah, and they'll go, "Where is it?"
Right there.
No, sorry, I'm going to talk to the guy with the Lamborghini. Goodbye.
It's a real. That'd be super funny to like validate.
They would.
That,
I don't think you could trick a woman.
High-end restaurants and stuff.
I don't think you could trick a woman into that. I think they'd be like, "No, you've done something to this. I'm not buying into this.
You're one
bullshit.
of those guys.
I'm out of here."
Out. Yeah.
Nope.
I think it would be more detrimental than.
Yep.
The IQ would probably do better for girls than the Cygnet. Frankly.
Not that one that called me a homo at the Chicago Auto Show.
Oh, God, I forgot about that story. Oh, that was one of my favorite stories.
That's early on. I don't even know where to tell people to go. Was it the Chicago Auto Show?
No, it wasn't. Yeah. I think it was before that. I don't know.
No, it was the Chicago Auto Show episode.
Because that was from the year before when we were not podcasting. That story.
Right? Yeah, it wasn't that. Or no, it was like 2 years before that. Even I think it was 3 or 4 years ago now.
So I don't think it was during that episode. It was one of them shortly thereafter, though.
So I don't think an Aston Martin badge would have smoothed that over for her. I think her opinion would have been
She's just
the same or worse.
Angry person.
She is angry. I don't know where she
what
is.
her deal is.
I don't know either. I don't know why you would say that to somebody you don't know. No matter what they were doing.
That's how you get stabbed.
It's true. It's very true.
It's amazing how times have changed in just a few short years.
I didn't even say the word that she said to me.
You said it on the podcast before, though.
I did.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Crazy.
Speaking of cars as investments, this was going to be my opener if you were going to not do the thing, but I can't find it. I was looking on Instagram trying to find it, but I can't find it. I got a targeted advertisement for a company that's now made an application, and it's probably good I didn't find it because I shouldn't say their name anyway, but basically what they're doing is they're securitizing vintage cars.
What do you mean securitizing?
So they say this is FINRA and SEC licensed.
What does that mean?
So basically what they're doing is they are taking old Ferraris, let's say like 275 Daytonas and stuff like that, and they're securitizing them. So they're turning them into securities. So let's say you had a Daytona, it's $300,000.
No.
They split it into 1,000 shares, and you can buy as many shares of it as you want of the 1,000, obviously. Yep.
No.
Found it.
Did you?
Yep.
I couldn't find it while I was talking.
It allows users to purchase equity in the classic cars they previously only dreamed of.
Just show it to me, and I'll tell you if it's what I was talking about.
But
that's that
dumb.
Is them. It is
That's dumb. Previously only dreamed of owning. You're still dreaming of owning it.
No.
Yes,
no.
Robbie.
This is just like the Packers that are all owners of the team.
That's even
right, exactly.
more.
It's the same bullshit. It's the same bullshit.
That's even more fake than an Aston Martin Cygnet.
Yeah, But
what are you going to do? I own 1/50th of a Ferrari 308. Like,
is that like?
do you have a picture you hanging on your wall?
Is that like when you name a star?
Yeah, basically. Except in theory,
well,
your wife gifts you like 1.5% of a Ferrari Daytona.
Oh God, I hope
you
it's
get like
not.
you get like a little commemorative plaque and a picture of your car.
No, I think they're more serious than that. They're trying to claim that you should buy these instead of stocks, which I think is probably the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. Because with a stock, you don't have like maintenance cost. I mean, how do you control the cost associated with maintaining the car, and who decides what level of maintenance you do to the car and what you don't do, and where is it being stored?
Who actually owns the car?
Everybody owns the car.
So where's
everybody that owns shares?
Where
I don't
is
know.
this car?
I don't know. I think what they probably do is they securitize like half of it. So I'm Joe Blow, and
you own 51%.
I have a Countach, right? And I own 50, and I go through this whatever this thing is. This is speculation. I don't know because this is so stupid. I couldn't fathom it last night when I was getting ready to go to bed. This is when I saw it. It's like, this is so dumb. But anyway, I think Joe Blow owns a Countach. He sells 49% of it through this deal, and he gets the funds from that, and then they take their commission from selling it, and But then what do you do with the car at that point? I mean, there's got to be restrictions on what you can do with it.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a really good way to get scammed.
That's why I started looking into it a little bit, and they claim that they are FINRA and SEC licensed, registered. It's all above the board. Supposedly, I signed up for their mailing list. I didn't get an email, so I don't know what that means. But
they don't have any reviews either on their app.
Is that the app? Yeah, this is just. I think they're just rolling this out.
What's new? A lot has changed on the app.
Yeah, probably a good call. Probably a good call.
For investing in classic cars for as little as $50 per share. If you just want to throw away $50, this is a real fast way to do it.
The thing about it is, I mean, it's the stock market works well because there's so many players in the game. There's so many people that are buying and selling, and so you've got a consistent idea of what the price is. This is going to be weird because so you buy your shares of your Countach or whatever, and then you want to get out of your shares of your Countach. I mean, how do you value? I mean, there's not going to be enough trading happening to be able to accurately value what is 1/100th of a Countach worth.
I think that I'm sure they have because Haggerty or companies like that, they have average sale prices, and I would guess that they probably base this off of that.
The way that they were pricing this is there's a bid ask spread is what it's called, and basically what that means is that there's one price if you're buying and one price if you're selling, and the market dictates that price. And the way it's dictated is by whoever's willing to pay the most for the shares gets the shares. So if you're willing to pay $100 for the shares and the guy down the street's willing to pay $101 for the shares, he gets the shares. So how do you... The only way that works, though, is in a competitive market where there's constant buying and selling, because you need that constant turnover in order to establish a consistent, not a consistent, but a relatively reliable price.
So I feel like they would have to do this with cars that aren't crazy rare.
They had like a 275 or something, or a GTB or a 250
I'm not
or something.
up to date on my Ferraris enough. Is that...
That'd be a very expensive Ferrari.
Is that a $20 million Ferrari or is that a $3 million Ferrari? I mean,
it's like a $3 million.
Are there 10
Ferrari
of them or are there 500?
Well, I don't even know where the car is. Like, does the car exist? I mean,
that's my other thing. Is like,
you can't. When I went on there, there's nothing there. There's no cars. So, and they're like, sign up for blah blah blah. So I signed up to see what happens.
Omni on here.
What's that?
I'm gonna put the Omni on there.
I don't see why not.
Just like make up a big, or write out the story.
Write up some bullshit.
Write up the story about it. Make it all heritage like.
Yep.
That's what people. That's
people eat that shit up.
The thing.
I know.
You buy the story when you're buying a car. You buy the story.
You're absolutely right. One of the screenshots is, we create a story around each automobile on our platform, including provenance reports, photos, videos, records, plus receipts and history.
I feel like this would be a good way to fund some racing effort.
But can you race the car then once you do it?
I'm sure there's a whole thing why
list of
you can't. Yeah.
I'd like to know where the car... where's the car come from? Does it say anything in there about
each
that?
asset on the app is hand-selected by a team of industry experts and securitized. That's it. That's all I say.
A team of industry experts. We're not making any fucking money, but we have a team.
A team.
Of industry experts.
These have got to be like museum cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's the point. It's so you can say that you own some ridiculous car that you'll maybe get to fly to go see once.
Hey, I own Ferrari, by the way.
I own 0.1% of a Ferrari Daytona.
Yeah, see here, look, right here. I have a picture of it on my phone.
No, I actually do own Ferrari. I own shares in Ferrari.
You.
Oh, God.
Because I own shares in Fiat, and then they split. So I own shares in Ferrari as well.
Look at you.
See? How far has that gotten me?
Nowhere.
Now
we think you're an asshole.
It's maybe like $3
we
probably.
already thought that. Let's be real, Robbie.
Well, now you're a Ferrari asshole.
Yeah.
It's a whole different level. Whole other level.
You own a Ferrari? Fuck you. I own Ferrari.
You should lead with that at bars and your Tinder profile and all that
Ferrari,
stuff.
Yeah. Shareholder in Ferrari. Yeah.
Yeah, where's your Ferrari watches and gear? And
they send me shit. I just throw it away. I don't look at it.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Perspective.
Oh, another Ferrari box.
Not boxes of merchandise. Like a prospectus. It's all in Italian. I can't read it anyway. Just throw it away.
That's funny. Boy. They probably are, too. You get a magazine once a month, like a catalog once a month, and it's all in Italian.
Not helpful. Just throw it away. Toss it straight in the bin. That's dumb. Good luck to him, I guess.
Yeah, someone's going to get rich off of it, and a lot of people are going to.
They are going to get rich off of it, and I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think you have enough people buying and selling to make the market work. At least not in that case.
Like if you were dead serious about doing this, you'd be better off getting together with a group of investors and actually purchasing a car.
That, to me, is the most fucking annoying thing in the entire world.
That people are doing that?
Well, so there's a guy that I met at Good Guys, and he had I don't even know what it was. It wasn't anything that crazy. It's like a 455 Olds or something, or I don't know what it was. It doesn't matter. Or no, it was a GNX. I think it was a GNX, like a 70 GNX. And so he told me that it's a co-owned car, so like multiple people own it, but it's his car, air quotes, his car. And so it's like, so you own it, but you don't own all of it. Some people own it, and they were investors in it so that you could restore it. And so, like, but why though?
So they like get it on, like if they want it for a weekend, do they get it?
I don't think
then?
so. No. They just put money in to invest in it because they think when he goes to sell it eventually, it's going to be worth, they're going to make their money and more back.
When he says they, does he mean his,
his buddies,
his family, his mom and dad?
No. I don't think so. I think it's probably maybe friends, but
He's got to be a smooth talker
maybe.
to get that pulled off. You know, that's got to be.
I just think it's really dumb.
Yeah.
Why don't you just own a car like on your own or like co-own it with the bank? Wild, crazy shit, I know. Auto loans.
Well, I mean, it's hard to. You can't get a bank loan to restore a car.
No.
You can get a loan. You get like
you
a line
get a
of credit.
loan. Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Ill-advised,
it's unprotected and very, very high
expensive.
interest and stuff like that. So, but what?
Or just don't do it. Don't do it. Just do it with cash.
If you can't afford to restore that car, then buy a cheaper one.
Or save your monies.
Yeah.
Or buy 0.1% of a Ferrari Daytona.
This idea that we're gonna make money off classic cars appreciating, I think, is insanity.
No.
I think
it's one of the riskiest
gone.
things that you could do.
I think a lot of that's gone because, like, I would never pay huge money for most of those old muscle cars anymore because they're not the cars I'm after. Those days have gone.
I think some of that Barrett Jackson hype has worn off also.
Very much so.
Because they sold that 70 SS 454 LS6 Chevelle for $1 million. But that was like 10 years ago, or maybe even more. When's the last time you saw an LS6 Chevelle go for that money? Original LS6, not the current
not
LS6.
A pro touring car.
Right. The 450 horsepower 454. Which, to be fair, is a very sought-after muscle car that is kind of the GM muscle car. But
see, we say that, and then like the big auction that I went to a couple months back, they sold a couple of those muscle cars for huge money. Like I mean, it's been long enough now. I don't remember specifics on what they were and what they went for, but there was some what I thought were
insane,
was crazy money for some of those cars. Like they had a 59 El Camino there, which interesting car. Love the 59 El Camino, but it went for over $50,000, and that seems out of control to me.
It's a lot of money. Robbie, you're Googling over there. What are you up to?
I was just going to start saving pictures, trying to keep up with you guys. Listing off cars.
So, I don't know. It's a strange market that I never have been able to wrap my head around.
And I think that's the problem, is that you can't. It's less predictable than the stock market by a long ways.
Yeah.
It's less predictable than futures. It's less predictable than commodities, derivatives of any kind. So it's just, They seem to claim that, classic car prices have risen over the last 30 years, which, fair enough, that's true, but there's so many hidden costs associated with it that nobody ever quantifies that portion of the cost. And then what if the car needs a full restoration?
Yeah.
At what point do you make that decision and the costs associated with that? I just think it's dumb.
Yeah.
End rant.
Yep.
That was it. Check up Eyes Up Auto Art on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Send him a DM if you want a picture done by him. He posted recently on Instagram a picture of some of the stuff that he sent out to his customers, which was really cool, including that, was it a Dodge or a Ford? That hot rod that I was...
It's a Pontiac.
That was a Pontiac.
Yep,
the orange Pontiac.
Yep.
So all that stuff's pretty rad. If you want him to do something for you, check out any one of those social media pages. Send him a DM. You can also see some finished work there. It's pretty rad. Prices are reasonable. Makes for a great gift. Check it out. Eyes Up Auto Art. EYESUP Auto Art. Boom. Should we move on to the next thing that we did or did not do, Robbie?
Sure.
Do you want to introduce it?
I don't even know where to start on this.
We went drifting.
Actually, where
I
we
went
should
drifting
start
for the first time.
Where we should start is, what did you have to do the night before?
So the RX-7 did go drifting. The night before, I was trying to get some final things done on the car, and what I wanted to do was reprogram the ECU, which requires reflashing it to lower the rev limiter, because I just wanted to lower it a bit in case I was banging off of it. I just wanted to bring it down. So I reflashed the ECU. I've done a reflash, but I've never changed the rev limiter. So I went in there using the program, which, by the way, props to tuners because it's really fucking...
Is that HP tuners?
No, it's not HP tuners. I have to look up what it is. But you write the program, like the binary file, and then you flash the ECU. So it's like two different things. So you've got a binary file that has... you need a... I can't remember what the name of the other... It's some sort of executable file that gives you the parameters. And then you can go in and change the parameters. You save the binary file. And then you have to connect to the ECU, upload the binary file, and flash the ECU, and you have to do all this shit. It takes forever to do this. And so I did that the night before, and then the car wouldn't fucking start. I was like, God damn it. I was so pissed. I was like, this is so fucking... And like I said, it takes forever to do it. It probably takes 5 minutes to flash the ECU, so you can't really, like... Troubleshooting is hard.
I'm sure they're rocking fast.
Yeah. Flashing it is just... It's a slow process. So I didn't panic. I pulled that binary file off the ECU. And I had saved the original tune that my tuner had given me.
Smart.
I saved it so you can pull tunes off. You can pull the binary file off and save it. So I did that. So I just put that one back on there and reflashed it, and then I put the car on the charger. And I walked away from it, and I came back and it started, and I was like, oh, fuck.
The 240...
Panic averted.
When I had the AEM, the 240 was that way. When I tried to go to the newest firmware, it would be the same program, or the same flash and all that, but it wouldn't work. So every time I would try to update it, it would just fuck everything up.
Really? So, yeah, for people that don't know, this is the original GM ECU. They are flashable. You can change basically everything. The only thing it really limits you on, I think, is like really extreme timing curves.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that really you're limited on. I think you can do about anything else that you want. You can change injectors. You can change pulse, all that stuff. But I don't get into that. I would like to, but it's, just it takes a long time. There's a lot of shit to understand about tuning, but it's interesting.
It's a lot of shit to mess up.
It's a lot of shit to mess up.
It's very expensive when you do.
And like I said, it takes forever to flash it, so it's not like you can just, boop, 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 send it. Okay, good to go. I'm going to go test it.
I bet like Robbie's ECU is probably much quicker.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how long it took to flash the AEM?
Like a second?
Oh, I was talking about what he's got on the car now. Yeah, because that's a more modern computer.
Yeah, I don't think...
It's probably a lot quicker than the one you've got even.
Well, he stayed in the car, and like every time he did something, it was just like, all right, then let's do a pull.
Really?
So, I mean, it wasn't like he had to walk away.
Yeah, this is very slow flash tuning. And it may be the programs I'm using. The nice thing about the LT1s is that everything is open source. Everything's free. Everything's open source. You can get all the files you need to change anything. People share tunes. You can grab stuff off the internet. The tuner I use is remote, and he's very affordable. He's very busy, but his prices are very reasonable.
That's why he's busy.
Yeah. So, but he's good though. He's well renowned. So those parts of it are good because it's way cheaper to tune an LT1. It's just doing it on your own is kind of tricky. So anyway, that was it.
Wasn't there a wheel bearing issue? Or something?
The front wheel bearing didn't get packed correctly on the passenger side
because 2-year build process.
Yeah, just hadn't driven.
How'd you figure that out?
It was rubbing on the brake. I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, his front brake rotor was pretty gnarled up there.
It wasn't pretty gnarled up. It was
scratched,
had a mark
scuffed.
on it.
You could tell that there was something not quite right. It was still usable.
Took it apart.
Of course.
Took it apart and just repacked it, put it back together.
And you were good to go.
Yep. So that was it. Loaded it up. Tried to get a fire extinguisher in it, which links to another story later. I literally had like 3 different fire extinguishers I bought. You buy them and they come with that cheap plastic mount thing, and I bought another mount for it. It wasn't the right size, even though it was right next to it, so I ended up not putting a fire extinguisher in it. Then I tried to grab one out of the trailer and put it in there, and it just didn't fucking happen. Next time, before I go to the next event, I'm going to put a fucking fire extinguisher in that car because an S13 caught fire at like the beginning of the day at O Drift Collective.
He wasn't even on track, was he?
Yeah, he was on track.
Oh,
he was
he?
out drifting
Okay.
and severed a fuel line, and he had 91 and 100 mix in there, he told me. Severed a fuel line, hit the exhaust, and it ignited.
And then at a fuel or an electrical.
No, there wasn't. They thought there was an electrical problem.
Okay.
But he had just sprayed the whole back of the car with fuel and just kind of set everything on fire. They got it put out, though. He didn't have a fucking fire extinguisher either. Two other people had him and put him out. So I was like, God damn it. Like, I was trying to put a fire extinguisher in his car. That guy's car caught on fire. I was like, man.
What I thought was really cool of that guy is he ran into Omaha, bought fire extinguishers, and brought them back out there to give to the guys that used theirs up.
Right.
You know, they're only, I think, if I remember, I think I paid $25 for the one I have in the Omni. I mean, it's not a high capacity. It's a fairly small one.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a huge financial loss to those guys, but it was good on him that he did that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I had no idea that happened. Where was I?
Did you not know about that till just now?
Just now.
Oh, okay. I thought you knew that day of the
No.
race. So this is, just to be clear, this was O'Drift Collective, Shredfest, would have been July 29th.
Yes.
Was the weekend we were there. At Pacific Junction Raceway Park in the Midlands. That's where they do their events. So yeah, this was this would have been like 1 o'clock.
It was right away.
Or no, not 1 o'clock, because what time? Gates opened at noon.
Gates opened at noon.
1:30.
It was probably 2:30.
Okay.
His car caught fire.
It was early enough in the day that I thought he didn't even make it on track. I thought that had happened when he was like driving.
It was one of the
tech
first
lane or
one of the
something
first
like that.
runs.
Okay. Well,
So that sucks. But
He was parked like directly behind, like
yeah,
the next
straight
row
ahead of you.
back.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I must have just missed that then.
white
Yep.
car.
White car.
They got it running again.
Nice.
Good on him for not taking it back out there, but
Yeah.
we won't go there. It's something that if you have a serious malfunction, you should probably just call it a day for
go
like
home.
Make
track,
sure-
your
make
track.
sure
Go
it's-
Rethink your
home.
life.
To go home, just go through everything again. Just make sure everything's cool. You know, don't be that guy. We won't say anything else about that, but just something to be aware of. Not that, that's all I'll say. We'll move on to something else. But anyway, it's the first time the RX-7's been out. It's the first time the 240 was out at a drift event.
Yeah.
It's the first time those cars have been together.
It's the first time those cars have been together.
I realized while we were there, we still have never had all three of our vehicles at the same place at the same time.
It's very true.
Since we started the podcast. It's been almost a year and a half now, and we've never had all three of our vehicles at the same place, which is
very
kind of
true.
sad.
We've come close.
I've
Yeah,
had
two
my
and two,
car,
two and two,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
had my car and Michael's car together,
Yep.
and your guys' cars have been together, and Robbie and I's car have been together.
But never all three.
So we've
Well,
had
we've had-
all the combinations.
We've had all three if you count the Fiat at Marshalltown.
not since we started the podcast.
Not since you done the podcast.
yeah,
that's
that was
what I mean.
before. That was SR20 days.
That
Since
was,
we started the podcast, our cars have never been at the same event.
Adam, get your car running.
Shit's wild, bro.
I'm trying so
It's got
hard.
a mystery
I don't
electrical
know
problem.
what's going on.
Those are really frustrating.
just
'cause
ready
they're
to
just
burn it down.
hard to
So,
track down.
That's frustrating.
When you got an electrical problem in a harness, it's like a fucking.
I'm literally
Shit
just
show.
I'm just putting a new one in it. That's
I get it.
I've been
I'm
to
just
that- been there.
rewiring the car.
I get it. That's
Screw
all
it.
you can
I'm
do.
done with it.
I mean, you could try tracing it, but I don't know. How long is that going to take you? Then
It's
once you
not
do
worth
it,
it.
you don't know where it is.
It's not worth it.
Even if you trace it, you don't know exactly where it is.
Yeah, I'm just gonna rewire the whole thing. It's only like 6 wires, 8 wires. It's not like it's a big deal.
You do it for a living anyway, so
Yeah, that's
whatever.
the thing that drives me nuts about it is like there's just some sketchy stuff that as a guy who does it for a living, I would never fly, and it bothers me, and it's bothered me since the day I bought the car.
So it's a good excuse.
So it's just time to do something about it.
So one thing I want to ask Robbie is, I want you to compare. So you went to PDX Iowa Speedway, SCCA. Compared that experience, just tone, preparation, not your preparation, but track preparation on behalf of the organizers, drivers meeting, to O'Drift Collective, still at a track.
Yes.
It's a
Well-run
sanctioned
event.
It's a well-run
It was a
event.
very well-run
I'm
event.
I'm
It
not
went very
saying,
smoothly.
I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just
No.
saying, just compare SCCA PDX to what is probably, I would say, a typical drift event at some level.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Maybe it's slightly smaller scale, but
yeah, no, it's a pretty dramatic difference. I mean, the SCCA thing is very regulated. I mean, there's people that travel to do flags and do like what's it called, like race steward,
Corner
and
working and race steward, safety steward,
safety steward,
race steward,
just like
timing,
Yep.
all those people.
like the tech inspection is a much bigger deal there. They go through the car a little more thoroughly.
a tech wasn't bad though,
No.
because they were cognizant of. I'm sure they do this. I can't remember on the PDX, but they were more cognizant of leaks. Apparently, that is a real problem.
For which?
For O Drift.
Well, I think
guys trying to like clean off leaks and cars are fucking,
that's
colanders basically.
Like you got these drift missiles that are going to get smashed up. So like I think people are just trying to like, well, I don't want to fix it because I'm just going to drift it and wreck it again. So I'm sure that they see it on a event by event basis that there's someone there that's got a car that shouldn't be out there.
That's just, hey, this one's gone too far. Let's
where I think the PDX I think is the opposite, where they're ready to be on the fucking speedway. They have a car that they have taken the time to make sure it's race ready. Yeah. Whereas I think drifting is probably a little bit more in the other direction, where they're just trying to get something that'll work without breaking the bank.
That's fair. A lot of the PDX cars, a lot of those guys, I think they're autocross cars, and in that case, even their dailies.
Yeah,
or at least they're newer fun cars.
Yeah, I mean, if something goes wrong on the PDX track, something really went wrong because you don't expect to have any sort of carnage like you do at drifting. Because I mean, that was just it's more destructive.
Yeah,
by its very nature.
We had the fire. Obviously, that was bad. But then we had 2 wall incidents. Small, very small, but 2. I think we had 2 wall incidents, and then we had
1 collision.
There was 1 collision.
And there were probably 3 or 4 times that a tow truck removed a car.
Yep.
Yeah, there was
full blown flatbed.
3 or 4 times that I was waiting in line. I think there was more than that.
Well, something, So it's expected. It's definitely more expected at a drift event. And to be fair, O-Drift. So I was talking to Luke, which we'll get to what he was driving because that was hilarious. But I was talking to Luke, and he said,
Luke has been on the show before. For those that,
episode 26.
Yep.
He said that there are some places that do cageless tandems, which O-Drift Collective does not do.
Or almost anybody should.
I think that's probably the right way to go
I think that's a good call. Yeah.
I think O-Drift is
right on that
doing
one.
Right there. I feel like cageless tandems is... And those guys were like... One of the big things I noticed about... And this is not a knock on anybody who's driving there because there were a lot of really good drivers, but they are not nearly as close as like the Falcon team was at Grid Life.
Yeah.
But I still would not feel comfortable cageless.
Well, I was waiting in line, and then the guy that was the representative for the track, or I can't think of how you would want to describe that.
He's a RPM employee or something.
Yeah, basically. Yep. So he's standing there in line. He's helping move us along, and he's the one that's driving the tow truck. And we're talking about cages, and he goes, "What fucking difference does it make? I mean, it's just as dangerous going without a cage. Like if he wasn't saying one way or the other, like everyone should have cages, but in his mind, if you're going to require it for tandem, why won't you just require it for everybody? Because I mean, you're just as likely to get into as serious of an accident alone as you are with somebody going the same speed next to you."
I think they're just worried about people driving into the side of other people.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
They really just need door bars. Is really what it comes. They just want door bars and roll protection, not so much like full through the firewall and stuff like that. Cages. They just want door bars and roll protection.
And I didn't see the accident, but that's what happened to Zach's FC RX-7. Is I think he got like T-boned or something. Yeah. Somebody adjusted in some way or another where there was a pretty serious collision between him and somebody else. And, it ruined his car. He had a Shinomi cage in it, and it still ruined his car. So
he built a new car this winter, didn't he?
Yeah, his car's up and running.
So that was a full... I remember that. That, like, buckled...
Oh, it screwed that car up really bad.
Both cars.
So that would have been really bad if they didn't have cages.
Right.
I do understand that guy's point about, we should probably all have cages. That's, that's fair. I understand that. But that track is way safer as far as runoff space than a lot of places.
Yeah, it takes a lot to hit a wall or anything that's going to cause damage. Like, you really have to mess up.
Or going backwards around the track. That's the other option. Yep. If you go backwards, you can run into a wall at turn 1.
Which is why they didn't do that.
Especially when they were doing the I-29 dragway was running.
So
it was
the drag strip is right, literally 75 feet away from the main straightaway, and they were running stands packed, people all the way down the drag strip, full
no prep
race. Yep. Like a big 1320 video sponsored no prep.
So they said we couldn't run turn 1 backwards as a result, which
was kind of
fair enough.
Probably
kind of cool.
Fair enough.
Matthew Hines, when I rode with him, he even mentioned something like, it's kind of weird because there's like people watching us.
I know. Yeah, that was weird because I was talking to Luke. I was like, how do we get those people over here? How do we transplant some of those? Because that whole spectator parking lot was full. The whole thing.
The stands were full, and then there were people standing along
down the
fence
wall.
all the way
Racing
down.
started at 6, and there were people there at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sitting in the stands because they wanted a certain spot.
Shit's wild, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
crazy.
if you added a competition portion to drifting, maybe that would be like, then people, because I think people go to those no prep races because they get into like the rivalry of the cars. Like the guy that used to own my FC, his new one, and then the guy that owns the 2J Capri, and and Sharp with his Mustang. People get into that whole rivalry thing.
Well, some of the cars that show up there literally have been on Street Outlaws. I mean, they've done, like low-level races. They're not racing through the list. But, like, I'm pretty sure Beaterbomb has been on there. And the guy that owns that Beaterbomb car is literally the guy that puts on that event. He's from Omaha, and he's the one who does all of the organization for that event. So there's decently large. That Boosted GT guy, he used to go to those. I don't think he does anymore because he's so busy with his TV schedule now. But he used to go to all those. I mean, there's some. So like, you kind of get to rub shoulders with, what are mild
National
celebrities
people,
in that category. So that's kind of cool.
So my car, the diff is fucked, but that's okay. I kind of expected that. I knew it was fucked.
Time to bust out the welder.
Time to get out the NA diff, meaning the open diff, the one that came in the naturally aspirated rotary. Just weld that shit up. Got to get some half shafts because that diff is not as wide, so I got to get some different half shafts. And I think the tailpiece for the drive shaft's different. I got to look at that. But
Your dad was pretty sure it was.
Yeah, so I have to figure out something there, but that would be way better, especially since after that, both Luke and Matt told me that Matt definitely had an accident because the limited slip differential unlocked and pushed him into a wall, and then Luke had an almost. So, goodbye.
That's the thing I've never thought about.
I didn't think about it either.
Like, in drifting, a limited slip can actually be somewhat dangerous.
Yeah, because it just, all of a sudden, both wheels are locked, you're spinning, you let off the throttle partially or all the way or whatever, and all of a sudden the whole thing unlocks and you've got rear end grip again, and all of a sudden you're going straight. It's traditionally not what you're looking for.
That's kind of what you were fighting with, weren't you?
Yeah, because it was
exactly
unlocking.
What he
it was unlocking real hard.
You could feel it when I was riding the passenger seat. You could feel it. He'd be in the throttle and it'd be great, but you got to, you're steering with throttle, and he'd lift and that car would just grab traction and it's game over.
Yeah, I think that's the video that you posted.
Yeah, you can see it grab because it shimmies real hard when the car grips, and then I can't get back into it, and then I spun around. But by the way, so that experience was fucking awesome because I drifted in the Fiat, but that was a whole different ballgame. So Adam and I went out. Adam was with me, and this was after the car had been set on fire and all this shit, and I was kind of in my own head. I was like, I don't really want to make a dick out of myself and have this car explode and look like a moron and oil the track or whatever, but I was like, let's just go out there again. We'll, I fixed that weird noise it was making. That was the dust shield rubbing on the brake rotor, which made a really fucking weird noise.
Yeah, it was super weird. And then it did change based on the gears too, almost, it sounded like.
Yeah, and the faster I went, I think it was because I would go faster and it would make a more weird noise. Yep. And then when I went side to side, it was flexing it enough that it would. So it was like, what the fuck is that? And then figured out it was a brake, that dust shield. So sent the car out. And the way they do these events, we've talked about them before, but they have a series of typically 3 corners that they do as a drift section. They don't drift the whole track all the time. So you line up, you do your 3 corners, and then you line up for the next one, or you go back because there's a crossover on that track. But I was on turn 1 and just sent the car out there and just tossed it in like Luke had told me to toss in the Fiat, and put my foot down, and all of a sudden we're drifting, and I was like, holy shit!
He was screaming. He was so pumped. It was so awesome.
Because maybe it's just a really good chassis and that's why people do it, but I just tossed it in there and applied throttle, and all of a sudden it was drifting. But, again, as soon as I came out of it, the whole thing unlocked and straightened back up again. But it did a drift and it made smoke, and I was like, holy shit! This is crazy. And I've never had... I don't do like super extreme sports like jump out of airplanes and shit like that. Not that I wouldn't do that, but I've never had an adrenaline hit that hard before. like, I don't want to say my chest hurt because it didn't hurt, but the adrenaline in my chest was palpable. I was like, holy shit, got to do more of this. This is awesome. It was a really weird experience. It was awesome. But,
I was super pumped that I was there.
It just fucking
it was
did
great.
it. So yeah, once I get that welded diff in there, that'll be a
game changer.
That'll be a game changer for sure.
The best part is so he does that, nails it. Of course, the diff let go, and so we weren't able to do any connecting drifts or anything like that. But we get around, and we're pretty. Both of us are pretty pumped on it. He's way amped on it. I was like, we're going live. We're doing this, right? Like, that was awesome. So we're going live for sure. And so we did, and it didn't.
I couldn't do it the next time. That was actually the next time. I think is when I went off track so hard that it pulled. So on the bottom on my Fortune coilovers where it attaches to the hub, it's got an elongated bolt hole, so you can put in more camber at the bottom also.
Yep.
And it shifted it so hard that it basically took all my camber out of the bottom. It slipped. Now, when I went to try to take the bolt out, I couldn't get the fucking bolt out because it was in so tight. So it wasn't like it wasn't tight. It was really tight, but I was able to fix the trackside. But I also scraped a wheel and bit my fender. So I have my drift. Drift damage.
We peeled a whole bunch of rubber out from the inside of your fender.
Yeah, it was rubber from the
tire.
We were
trying to decide whether it was tire or like some sort of
fender
weird
liner.
inner fender liner piece, and it turned out to be tire. Whoops.
But
nice.
Fixed it, trackside.
So he's in there with a hammer, right?
Yeah, I remember watching that.
And then Matthew, who's parked right next to you, he's like, now you're getting it. That's the way it works. Like, oh, God.
You just got to beat shit with a hammer,
Yep.
when you damage it. Of course, there was somebody with a cutoff wheel. I don't know. He was working on something for a long time. I don't know what the fuck he was doing.
They're running that cutoff wheel all the time.
It's like, all right, man. That's what you got to do, though.
Do what you got to do.
Everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it.
It was very weird because there were people, they'd go out, they'd make 2 runs, they'd come back in, they'd hack, pull, hammer, beat, change, flip tires, rotate tires, add new tires, whatever. There was a mobile tire changing station out there, and that guy was busy constantly.
Yeah.
And then they just go back out there and do 2, 3, 4 runs, and then they come back in and beat on the car again. It was crazy. It was very different.
That's just how it's just part of the deal. Robbie, what was your experience like?
It was very weird for me. I go out there and I got all the power in the world, and I went out there before I talked to Luke, and I'm obviously doing the video on it that I spent all day trying to get footage for. Before we get into that, but so I get out there and I'm keep following the fucking racing line for some reason. Like I
was doing that in the Fiat the whole first.
So like I go out there and like I take the corner like I would as if I was gonna do it for time. Mm-hmm. And then of course that's the worst thing to do for drifting. So like my angles are all wrong. I'm like I cut it too short and I slide into the grass, or I go too long and I slide that into the grass, or I spin my tires and all of a sudden panic, and then all of a sudden let off the gas and fishtail all over the place. So there's a bunch of footage of me just fishtailing. But I'd say there was a combination of fighting my instincts to find the racing line, which I've been trying to do for the last few years, and now to try to drift, it's the exact opposite. So like that was a huge thing to overcome for me. And then the worry of damaging my car was a big thing. Like every time I went off the track, I would look right at my gauges. I'm like, okay, I still have oil pressure. Okay, I have pressure. We're good.
When he told me that, like, every time we go off, just watch. And so when I was riding, that's basically what I did. I just
watched the oil pressure
sat
gauge?
there and stared at the oil pressure gauge, because now he's got me paranoid about, like, he told me to watch it, and I don't want to be the reason, because now I know that
you don't want to ruin this
I have
motor?
A job here, right? So now I got to. So that's all.
So much pressure.
Yeah, it really ruined it for me.
Well, then the first turn 1 through 4 or whatever, I felt was too fast for me right away because I was taking it too fast. That was too fast for my comfort. So I went over to the other turn 11, 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was doing that most of the morning or the early afternoon, thinking that Thomas and stuff are there taking pictures. I'm like, all right, well, even if I'm fucking this all up, I'm getting footage.
And get a picture.
So I'm practicing there for, I stayed there for almost 2 hours, just, between going to the pits and going back out. I was a couple hours. Then turns to find out they're at the other turn, no footage at all.
Because when Adam was going out with me, when I went back out, you were in front of me.
Yep.
We went on the track at the same time, and then you turned through the turnaround and went over to 11-12. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Everybody's on this side now.
Nope. I had no clue
the camera guys
that the
were on
camera
that
guys were over there. So there's at least 3 hours that I should have had footage for.
Didn't happen.
So I got a little bit more comfortable doing it there. And then, we took a break at 5 o'clock, and I stopped, and I kind of just sat by myself in the trailer and had some lunch and drank some water and had a me moment just to get away from everybody. And then went back out there, and for some reason it just clicked, and I was able to. I'm not saying I'm good at it, I'm not, but I was able to at least somewhat find the right lines and get kick the tail out and connect it to the next line. And then also Blizzaks, while they last all day, don't make good drift tires.
They get real hot.
They did something weird to you, didn't they?
Yeah, the hotter they get,
the greasier they get.
It's a super inconsistent grip. So I'll be going around the corner, and then all of a sudden I'm like, no grip. I'm drifting, grip into the grass. It was the weirdest thing. And then and because turn 1 is a big right turn, followed by a short left turn, and then a huge sweeping right turn.
Yeah, 3 is quite the deal.
So I would all my wear was on the driver's side back tire, and that was just kind of smeared everything, and then the other side was just on the inside. So I wasn't wearing my tires very evenly, so that probably wasn't helping anything.
No.
And then somewhere along the lines, I slid off and damaged my side skirt.
You must have hit a rumble strip or something.
I had to have. It's got a nice big hole in it.
It was cracked
up by the door,
and I mean it was pretty well damaged.
I don't remember hitting anything quite like that, so I don't know if I threw a rock at it or hit a rumble strip or something. But you know what this means?
Drift missile!
New color scheme for the 240.
Oh, jeez.
You gonna vinyl wrap it?
I think so.
Make just shit wild?
Yeah, I think this winter.
Yeah.
I'll fix it, and then we can cut the bumper off, or the rear bumper, and leave the side skirts on, because, I mean, what's the point?
You could put sliders under it. Why don't you put sliders under it?
I don't know.
Titanium sliders,
literally
sparks and shit.
Oh my god, that would... If you hit one of those, if you had a whole titanium slider underneath the side skirt, it looked like it might set your car on fire.
Might set a lot of things on fire.
Awesome, though, wouldn't it?
That'd be a lot of sparks.
So I'm open to suggestions on what I plan on fixing the car and fixing all the huge damages that I have, like the huge scratch in my fender and the hole in my side skirt, and again taking the bumper off. So I can go any color scheme I want. Might go
10/10 livery.
Might have to. So if some artistic person wants to come up with this crazy color scheme or 10/10 livery for next year,
of course I'm going to suggest Gulf livery.
Nah, because that's the Omni colors. I can't steal that. If anything, it'd be green and gold just to piss you off. I could paint my rims gold and
hell yeah,
have
dude.
like a candy green.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be
God.
very drift.
I'm fighting with myself to go like a subtle, just like a silver or gray or like a dark color.
Boring. Nobody likes
Get
that.
wild, bro.
Or peacock and go the other direction and just
do it up, Rob.
Yeah, like a chrome blue or something.
Live wild. Let Rob Diculous out.
It's drifting, Robbie.
Yeah, no, it's not drifting though. That's not a
Style
drift
points.
car.
It is now.
It is now. It's damaged.
No, it's still my race
It's
car.
done as many drift events as it has
Track
days. He
Track
has a
days.
point.
Yeah.
So
Might as well be a drift missile.
I still think I prefer track day. Honestly.
That's cool.
Why can't it be both?
I had a lot of fun drifting, but I don't want to use that car for drifting. I really would prefer a different car specifically for drifting that's set up for it. Because here I have everything set up for track day.
I've decided you can't both. You shouldn't do both. Try to do both. That's me, just personally.
I would agree.
don't
probably.
think-
I mean,
I really think welded diff after my experience is the way to go. And
Absolutely.
that's hard to do on a track car.
No,
You're compromising something one way or the other. You got to find a middle ground.
How hard is changing diffs though? It's whatever.
Just get a quick change.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
or for
It's only money.
It's only money,
yeah,
Robbie.
if it's only money, then I can just have another car.
It's true.
Yeah, quick diff. You can probably buy another 240 for a quick diff price.
Exactly.
I mean, let's be real here.
Those quick change diffs are not cheap.
So I got to say, Robbie, I was wildly surprised
I was wildly surprised.
because I went out with you like your first run. We were just like, fuck
know.
it, let's do this,
Whatever.
right? And you're like even asking me like, how do I flick, right?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Because Robbie wasn't even 100% sure on the Scandinavian flick process.
Like, you guys are like, you don't have to film your video in order. I'm like, actually, I do.
Mentally,
I need Luke here to tell me what to do. That was the point.
I see what you're saying. Because you wanted this interview with Luke to talk about drifting is
just
for
like
a
30-second deal is all I really wanted.
Yeah, and you were waiting. You were waiting. You didn't go out because you were waiting for Luke. Robbie, go out on track.
No, it's because I legitimately
didn't know
needed
what to do.
him. I listened to the Angle Junkies podcast episode to get like pointers on where to start, and that's like literally all I went with. I couldn't find like anything online was just like, well, if you handbrake and blah blah blah. And no, obviously that's not going to work for me day one.
But having been there, like I really didn't expect you to do like. I figured you'd go out there and just kind of like half dick it,
put a little more throttle.
You
in
thought
than normal.
you didn't think I'd just?
I didn't think you were gonna.
He didn't think you were gonna send it. I didn't think what he's trying to say.
Exactly.
I told you I was gonna send it. I yelled it, and
think you were gonna do it for Dale.
Holy shit!
There's a.
I couldn't believe it. Like we're out there the first run you did through those first 3 corners, you were in the grass, all 3 of them. And I was blown. I figured, okay, well, we're going back to the pits now. And Robbie's done. And what do? We go right back in the line and we put it in the grass every time again.
I did that.
I couldn't believe it.
I did that for 3 straight hours. And I was so discouraged. Like the video is going to show, like I was doing in-car commentary. I had the mic on my shirt talking to the camera. So it might turn out pretty good video. I'm actually impressed. But I'm sitting there talking to the camera, and you can tell I'm just discouraged. I hate drifting. I hate myself. I hate the car.
This is a huge mistake. I'm going to take up knitting. This is bullshit.
I want to go back to track day. I felt comfortable there. I didn't look like a fucking moron. I wasn't missing gears. Like I wasn't. They had all the people watching the drag races in front of turn 1.
Yeah.
And I kept missing 3rd gear. I'd go 2nd, ring, fuck, 3rd.
That trans is pretty fucked.
So I look like a moron in front of everybody. But after I took my break and just walked away, I was able to kind of reassess how I was doing it and then get back on it and do a lot better. I mean, there's clips of me going way into the grass.
I haven't seen any of the video, and from where we were able to spectate, we couldn't see those far corners where you were drifting in the second half of the day.
Yep.
But some of those pictures that Tim got that he posted on our Facebook page for us, you were killing it, dude. Like you had some pretty serious angle, and there's smoke coming off the back. Like you were fucking drifting.
Yeah, I was drifting, but it wasn't
awesome.
Like wildly impressive.
I know, but I mean, like this is your first time ever doing that, and it looked to me like you had it pretty well figured out.
Yeah, for being my first time, I'm very happy with how I did and what I'm doing so far. So I'd like to continue. I'd like to get better.
It was cool to see that.
Robbie, we need to find you a $1,500 S chassis.
I know.
Maybe with a KA. With a KA.
I had a $500.
Dude, you could do a turbo KA.
I could, yeah.
You could just do a KA. There was a guy out there linking all 3 of those fast corners the second half of the day in a bone stock naturally aspirated KA.
There was a dude with a 13B that was naturally aspirated. It said hashtag Ginger Lives Matter on the windshield.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fucking sweet FC. That dude was killing it. He was like, that dude didn't give a fuck. He ruined all of his bumpers and side skirts, all of them, because he was just out there just murdering it.
That silver NB Miata.
Yeah.
Bone stock 1.8. Flat to the floor the whole time, linking all the fast corners together. I was like, that dude is killing it. It was pretty cool to watch him bone stock Miata.
You only need like 140 horsepower.
No, it's true.
So
there were way more rotaries than V8 swapped FCs. It was weird.
It's a very different scene than
weird
Grid Life.
Deal.
Being that Grid Life is my only experience to a drifting event, I've never been to anything else but Grid Life and now this. It's a very different group of cars.
This is, I hate saying this because it's really cliche, and there used to be a podcast named this, but it is grassroots.
It's absolutely.
It is, yeah. It absolutely is.
But it was fun.
Yeah, it was an awesome day.
I said it a couple of times to a couple of different people throughout the day. I think I almost enjoy myself at the track more without a car.
We're taking the Omni out there next time because you got to do chase shots.
I've been invited to bring the Omni.
Steve from Scrapeyard wants to fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like... We were talking to Steve, and he was like, man, it'd be really cool if I could get out there and get some chase shots, but I don't want the guy that I'm with to be sliding. And it's hard to get someone to do that. And I was like, I've got a front wheel drive car with a cage in it. I'll do it. Let's do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Just gotta get it out.
That'd be sweet.
See you in October.
Deal. Just got to get it running long enough to do it. But
you can get it running by October. I believe in you.
it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Steve's got a remote camera operator deal.
He said he bought that whole rig just to be able to do those chase cam shots.
Yep.
Bought the remote and all that. And it was funny. They were talking about last year's Grid Life event and Larry Chen doing that and stuff like that. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. We were there.
Yeah.
We were there. It's very true. Oh, drifting in the G8. Hilarious. Good time.
Yeah.
I spent like all afternoon in Luke's car because my diff was fucked.
Sold his GTO.
Yep.
When we had last talked to him on the show, he had a GTO that he drifted. Sold that and bought he traded that.
Traded it.
Maybe plus some cash or whatever for a G8.
Yep.
Bone stock with an automatic transmission, not the GXP. So it was the V8,
yep.
But it was not the GXP, and was straight killing it.
It was pretty sick. He's a really good driver.
He really is.
Yeah. I mean, there's no two buts about that. He doesn't.
Matt told me
he doesn't hold back.
If a vehicle can be drifted, Luke will
do it. He didn't think it was going to drift. He's like, I just figured to do a burnout and that'd be about it.
He even posted. He's got a Facebook page for the car, and he even posted on there. I'm taking the car. If it does a burnout, I'll be happy. I'll probably just ride with people today. And I asked him as we were getting ready to leave, I said, "Do you ride with anybody?" And he's like, "You know what? No, I didn't."
He was gonna ride with me and never did.
Yeah,
No.
he's like, I just plan on riding with you guys all day because I figured this thing wasn't going to do anything. He didn't even bring it. He brought one extra set of tires, I think, and then since he was out there killing it, somebody gave him an extra set of tires.
So he went through all the tires.
So he had the guys that were there change a set for him.
Some Sumitomos.
Yep.
It was funny, the bone stock car with exhaust and all that, and he kept putting it on the rev limiter because he couldn't hear it.
Right, because he's trying to do the push shift
The
thing.
manual
Yeah.
matic thing.
Yeah.
And so he came into the pits and borrowed some tools from your dad and pulled the mufflers off the back of the car so that he could hear it.
It was
It
hilarious.
hardly made a difference, though.
No, it did help in the car.
It did help
though.
in the car?
Yeah, in the car.
I was surprised outside at how little difference that actually made.
In the car, we could hear it because like I said, I spent almost all afternoon with him just watching him. And you know what? That dude gets on the brake way more than anybody. I know he had to because he was in that car. But you'd be surprised how much he was on the brake mid drift.
Yeah.
What I was surprised by is how little you saw brake lights.
From him or just in
From
general?
anybody.
Oh, yeah.
From a lot of people.
Well, usually if you're controlling the drift, you're using your your handbrake instead of your pedals.
I got, I think, 2 or maybe 3 runs with Matt in the afternoon through the fast section, and so there was it's a decently long straightaway. It's long enough that they have brake markers. 3, 2, 1.
The one that Luke kept making me do in the Fiat.
Yeah.
If you go back to that episode,
he said you were supposed to initiate at 80, right?
he was telling me 80. Yeah, in the Fiat. That's probably all it would do.
We were the like second or third people to run through that section when they opened it up that afternoon.
Yeah.
And the guy that was sending people, he's like, "You gonna go for it, man? You gonna you really, and like." He literally did say, "Are you going to send it?" And Matt's like, "I always send it." He's like, "Whatever," And because Matt's just like the chillest.
He's chill.
dude.
He's got like
he's
calm all
there.
the time.
Yeah.
Level headed.
And he's like the starter guy's like, triple digit entries, right? And Matt's like, I don't know, like probably start off a little slow. These are fresh tires, I just want to kind of get there, and we'll do it, but maybe not this first time. And so the guy sends him, and what I thought was super funny was before Matt goes, he's got a radio in that car still. The whole interior is gutted, except it's got a radio and 2 door speakers, and he cranks that shit up, and it is the most gangster rap you've ever heard in your life. And it was super funny to me. And his speedometer doesn't work. And this is the first time I've ever ridden in a drift car other than
it's the white
earlier with you.
13 Sylvia.
Yeah.
Front
An
end.
E-Rod motor.
Yep.
Very fast car. And he's at the top of 4th gear. And so I'm like, this is, we're hauling ass at this point, right? And so you've got the 3, 2, 1 brake markers, right?
Yep.
And he pitches that thing sideways at 2. I mean,
weren't you in the passenger seat going, slow down, slow down, slow down?
Brake. You gotta be kidding me.
I was in the driver's seat doing that. I was like, this is too fast. But
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And we slid right through it.
Yep.
He transitioned through the other two corners and then like rolling burnout halfway down that front straightaway and lifted and was like, turns the radio and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good, Red. It's good, man. Are you kidding me?
That's all right, I guess.
He's like,
that's fine.
that was a top of fourth. So I think that was like 115 when we started. What? Are you kidding me? So like literally a minute ago, you just told the starter guy, well, I'm probably not going to get too crazy again. And here you are throwing it into the corner at 115 miles an hour.
I get it.
And there was another car right on his back bumper.
Oh, you were in the tandem line?
We were in the tandem line. Yeah. It was nuts. And then we just went and did it again.
It's wild. Shit's wild.
It's so crazy.
It
was a lot of fun. I totally get it. Still not going to run out and build a car for it.
That's all right.
I might.
It's a lot of working on stuff. I'll give you that.
Well, I think when you're at the, like, if I had a time attack car that was built similarly, or even an autocross car that's really heavily built, that's just the way it is, right? You're thrashing on stuff between runs, no matter what you're in. You know, like we talked to James a while back. You know, we talked about rebuilding a transmission, basically getting 2 hours of sleep. That's part of racing. I think that is just the way it is. And that's not something we're used to because we're going and doing much more relaxed
small tracks or autocross.
Or autocross, yeah. And so I think that's something we're not used to. Whereas, like, I think even in our cars on big tracks, if we started doing a regular, there'd be a lot of thrashing. So that's, I mean, whether it's drifting or time attack or drag racing or whatever, there's just a lot of thrashing involved. That's part of the game.
Yep. It's true.
Which is kind of why I liked not having a car there.
No, I get that.
Because I literally brought a change of clothes, fully anticipating that I'd be thrashing on somebody's car and wanted to be able to change out of, like, because I had my white 1010s t-shirt on. I was like, I don't really want to get this thing stained with axle grease or whatever. So I brought a change of clothes ready to go. Didn't end up having to, but I knew even if I did, it wasn't my car. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. I get it.
No, I
do get it.
Part of the track day is the social aspect, you know, hanging out with your friends, having fun with your friends, whatever. But when you don't have that added stress of it being your car, it's just that much better.
I would disagree. I had more fun driving.
This is me having never driven at a track event.
Yeah.
So,
and drifters are a different group. They socialize better.
Yeah, there's more camaraderie.
Yeah. There is more like,
I think that depends on your track group.
I would
because
imagine.
I think like you see it a lot when you're watching Grid Life videos and especially when you're even there. Like a lot of those guys, the track day guys, they're as close as any of those drifters ever would.
Oh, I'm sure.
The camaraderie there. I mean, it really just. I think our local scene just doesn't have that because of how hard it is to get to a track on a regular basis.
No, that makes sense.
So
definitely, it was a good day, Robbie.
Yep.
I want to thank Tim Taylor for coming out and shooting a fuckload of videos.
228 pictures.
He shot a total
Facebook.
of.
If you haven't seen them, go flip through them. Some of them are really, really,
He did an awesome job. Very impressed. I think the cool thing about it was he got to be on track, like he was actually in the track, in the middle of the track. And it does make a difference, the level of photos you can shoot versus shooting from, like the spectator area at Grid Life. So
not that those were bad pictures either. He did a great job on his Grid Life albums that he made for us as well.
Yeah, so very appreciative of that. Thomas was there. Thomas from TR Medium was there. He was shooting video.
Yep.
So we're anxious to see that.
I only have the clips of me, your clips, and Luke's clips. So if he has plans for the rest of them, we'll see. I'm not sure what he's doing.
I think he's doing
I would imagine.
Yeah, doing a thing.
Word on the street.
And then
Word on the street is he's doing a thing.
He rode with me, so I drove the 240 there, drifted all day, and then drove it home. So on the way home, he's on his phone going, You know, I could turn the E30 into a drift car.
Yeah. He was messaging me too because I was asking him, I'm like, hey, do you have that video of me drifting the RX-7? He's like, yeah, but I'm working on the E30 right now. We're trying to get this diff swapped. He's putting a welded diff in it.
Yep. So
Yeah,
shit's wild.
because he was
brake lines, diff bushings, and a diff, and that car's ready to go.
Yeah, because he was asking me a few things. I'm like, well, based on the one day of expertise I have, here's what I think.
I also want to thank Zach Burt for giving me advice on the car. I'm very appreciative of that. And then obviously Luke and Matt for instruction the whole time. And then all of the people in the O-Drift and Scrapeyard community that shared all of our pictures and things like this one here, as you guys can see. That sick purple S13.
That car was awesome.
The car is really awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. You guys definitely, if you haven't seen them, go check out the album on our Facebook page. There's some really cool pictures in there.
Appreciative of the love from the community.
So
I think that's it.
Yeah.
The photo album brings me to one thing I wanted to talk about real quick. That was one of the first times that I have looked through a photo album and seen the progression of light from
Do you get it now?
full day to like evening. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure that would help.
I'm starting to come around to understanding
some of the ones right at
these
sunset.
ridiculously like annoying, oh, the light's got to be perfect stuff that I've made fun of you guys for so long. I kind of get it. I'm starting to see it.
Yep.
It takes that, one aspect of it's the lighting, one aspect of it's the framing, one aspect of it's the distance, and then you put all that together and then you get a great photo.
It was good being able to you're scrolling through those pictures and the light is changing as you start at the beginning and work your way towards the end, because that's how he posted them.
Yeah.
And I think that was what really clicked it for me.
Yeah.
I see it.
So there's some killer ones at sunset.
Because they're from the same spot.
Yeah.
Shooting the same cars. The only thing that has changed is the lighting and the time of day.
Yeah.
So now I see it to an extent. I still don't quite. His day pictures are still just as good as anything. There's nothing wrong with them. They're great. So, but I kind of see your lighting.
Yep. I think that's it, Robbie. You're going to be upset about how long this episode's going to be if we don't move on.
That's true. Plus, I got a lot of editing to do because I want to make my video.
Yes, you do. You have your video, meaning
the
podcast will be on YouTube, but your video of your experience learning to drift will be a separate video as well.
I'm hoping to have that out.
Which means if you haven't already, go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yep.
We've had a handful of subscribers recently.
Click that little bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications. Because apparently that's a thing. I didn't realize that.
Yep. Otherwise, it ends up in a queue on your YouTube page somewhere if you don't do that.
You guys want to do some news?
Let's do news.
We can start the news off with the NTSB claiming speeds has killed as many people as drunk driving in the United States.
Let that sink in for a minute. It's an interesting one. That's an interesting claim. Let's move on and do some information from there.
I got
you want to go? You want to run with it? So it's a 10-year period. Started in 2005 to 2014 is what this study covers. They claim that speeding was linked, which is a key word, to 112,000 highway fatalities over that 10-year period. Drinking was responsible for about 113,000. It's about the same. Statistically, probably not a significant difference between those two numbers.
No.
This is the NTSB who did this study. They are National Transportation Safety Board is the organization that put together this particular study.
Basically saying that we're driving too fast.
We're driving too fast, and as a result, you might as well just be drunk driving the speed limit.
Yeah.
I think is what they're saying.
I guess you could take it that way. That seems like a bit of a stretch. But
there's a lot.
There's so much being left out.
The phrasing of it and the way it's being presented is very suspicious.
This is a perfect case of take statistics, add a spin, make it look however it is that you want it to look based on what you are trying to push.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know that there's a lot of times where you'll see this speed doesn't kill. Jalopnik was running like a sponsored ad on it for probably a month on Facebook here recently. A story about debunking the myth that speed kills.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I didn't read it, but
I've read some, but yeah, not much.
The interesting thing that goes along with this study is there was an extremely long list of things that basically they were suggesting that any jurisdiction should do to cut back on speeding, and all of them involved collecting more revenue for said jurisdiction via speed cameras, tickets, you name it. They were basically, it was just a list of ways to write tickets to people to make things safer in air quotes, but at the same time collect revenue. None of the things that I saw on that list had anything to do with driver's education or potentially trying to alter the way that people drive in order to make them safer.
Right.
It purely just had to do with punishment and fines. That's all I could see on that list. Speed cameras.
Yeah,
was the big one.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that, like, yeah, they say speeding was a factor, but like, what was really the factor when they crashed? Like, were they say they were going 100 miles an hour? Was it the 100 miles an hour that caused them to crash, or was it their phone ringing and them looking down causing them to crash?
Right.
So I mean, it's just, you know, how do you want to spin that? Like, oh yeah, they were speeding. What was really the reason they crashed?
Absolutely, and that goes back to what Alex Roy said when he was on the show: is that we're not putting any money into education. The education side of driving. You know, you could say that for distracted driving.
Absolutely.
You know, it's the same thing is that, you know, people are not I don't think people approach driving the same way they approached it 10 or 20 years ago. It's socially acceptable to be distracted while you're driving or to not put any effort into driving.
I also kind of wonder how many of those drunk driving deaths also share that number, or that number is also in the speed death
category as well. They're in
See
both.
if they double dipped.
I could not find the study. I found the summary of the study available from
Shocking.
the NTSB. I could not find the study
Shocking.
to read the actual data collected, how it was collected, et cetera, et cetera. Did you find it?
I couldn't find the
Because I
exact
could
study.
not find it. I found on their website the summary. It didn't say anything about where the statistics came from or how they were collected.
No.
Or what made up the statistics. They
No.
were just numbers.
I bet you if you took all of the drunk and speeding deaths, took those out of the speeding statistic, it'd be quite a bit smaller.
Yeah.
If you just left it as drunk and not drunk and speeding,
You don't get both, yeah.
You don't get both. You're either in the speed category or the drunk category. But if you are drunk, you don't get to be in the speed category.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
then-
I guess the question is speeding the primary thing that caused the accident, which is what Robbie was saying earlier.
Distracted driving or
Right. So if I'm looking at my phone and
And
I'm in
speeding.
and
That-
in the left lane in the
that
oncoming
falls under
traffic lane.
speeding, not under distracted driving, which is what actually the problem was.
Yeah, because they can't prove distracted driving because they're dead. All they can go off of is, well, the tire marks show that he was speeding.
Yeah, right.
You know,
There are
can't-
ways they can prove speeding after the fact.
Yeah, you can't prove distracted driving after the fact because you could be like, well, the phone was in the center console and it just fell out. Well, you don't know it was in his hand. You know, or like, yeah, you know, the radio's blasting tunes, but that might not have affected anything. Or that fucking Big Mac in his that's all over the car was probably in the bag next to him on the seat, not in his hands. You know, they can make any argument they want because
if how many of them weren't wearing a seatbelt? And if they would have been wearing a seatbelt, regardless of the speed, would they have survived?
right.
Those are the sort of questions I want to know.
Was the car safe to be driving on the highway?
In general.
Should it have been going 70 miles an hour?
Yeah. Should it have been allowed to do 40, let alone 140?
Right.
So I think what I want people to take away from this is to be critical thinkers. I think that there needs to be a huge push towards education in driving and taking driving more seriously.
That's where I wanted to go with this a little bit.
Okay. Do you want to continue with that?
I do,
then?
because Alex Roy led me straight to the statistics from Germany.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Rob.
44 traffic-related deaths per million people in Germany.
Okay. That seems very low.
The United States is 104 deaths per million.
Jesus.
Okay. So more than double.
More than double.
Yep.
Germany these are on roads that you can go 200 miles an hour on.
Right.
And it's less than half. But Germany requires much more of their drivers to get their licenses, including one, you don't get your driving permit until you're 17.
Yep.
You take classes when you're 18, which includes much more. It's 2 written tests, or two tests, a driving and a written test. Oh gosh, what else is there? There was more to it than that, but it was much more strict than the United States one.
There's an education portion of
and
it.
28% fail.
Oh wow!
You want to know how many people fail the United States one?
Yes,
like 3%. Like nobody fails that test. Like,
I wonder if the teachers have a higher level of education too.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know about, I know in like larger cities it's a little different, but growing up here in rural America, literally my driver's ed teacher
It's my football coach.
was my science teacher during the school year.
Yep.
Now, my particular driver's ed instructor was also a licensed NASA instructor.
Interesting.
But I would say he's an anomaly.
Yeah, he is the he's not the rule,
outlier,
as they say.
And then also in Germany, whereas here we think it's a right to get our driver's license. We think that at 16 I get my driver's license. It doesn't matter what anything else. I show up and pay my $40 and I get my driver's license.
Yep.
In Germany, it costs almost $1,800 American.
Ooh.
$1,800 to get your driver's license.
I feel like that's a bit extreme.
It makes you earn it.
I agree.
You respect it.
Extreme.
You care about it.
But yeah, I agree with Robbie too. It sets a different precedent.
Okay, is that for the classes and all that?
It's for your license. That's just what it says. I don't have any specifics.
Because I wonder if all the classes and testing and all that is $1,800, and at the end you get your license, or do I have to pay for all those classes and testing and all that stuff, and then give them $1,800 for my license? Those are two dramatically different things.
Yep. Either way,
Still $1,800, which you don't pay that here in America. I'll tell you that.
Even
one way or the other.
Most expensive, I think. What are like driving classes? Like $600 maybe.
When I did it, which take with a grain of salt, was 12 years ago. Yeah, 12 years ago it was $300.
Okay, so I was thinking higher than that.
So 500,
it was
600,
literally
700.
half my life ago.
Yeah, exactly. But
I'm old.
Also, on top of that, Germany requires that if you drive on the Autobahn, you have to have your vehicle go through a safety check every 2 years. You're required to, let's see, if you do not give drivers enough space, you can get a heavy fine for that. For example, tailgating is a €370 fine and 3 months of your license taken away.
Ooh.
You can't, like tailgating, you get your license taken away for 3
Something
months.
that people do here all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah.
So, like, they have really strict laws on giving space and driving safely.
Yeah.
However, you can do it as fast as you want. Like, you can't pass on the right lane. You have to be in the left lane. But if you're driving too slow in the left lane, or if you're the one tailgating them, that's a ticket. It doesn't matter how fast you were doing it.
Tailgating can be done at any speed.
Exactly.
So, it's interesting.
I had a couple more things about that. I'm just totally blanking on it, but you get my point.
Right. But we're going to fix it by putting up more speed cameras.
No, yeah, well, it's not.
They were petitioning the states and the districts that have banned speed cameras or refused to put them up, basically, to punish speeders. That was the takeaway from that. Now, also, nothing in that fucking whatever that summary was had anything to do with reducing the amount of people who are drunk driving.
No, let's ignore
Let's ignore the drunk driving portion.
The fact
of it.
that there's still like 100,000 people a year who die because they were drunk.
Every 10 years.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, so let's ignore that, but let's write some more tickets with speed cameras for people who are speeding.
I know this is an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with speed cameras and tickets in that scenario. If you don't want that ticket, don't speed. It's as simple as that. If you are doing the speed limit, you are not going to get the ticket. End of story. Whether it's a speed camera or what I would prefer is more patrol. But because I would rather have a human being paid to put their butt in a car seat and go around and, maintain law and order and public safety than putting speed cameras up. But if you don't want those tickets, don't speed. It's as simple as that.
Right. But I think that's only addressing an itty bit of the problem.
I get that. But
we should be trying to make people better instead of punishing
Even
them.
this morning on my way to work, I saw a car go from the far left lane all the way to the fourth lane, which is a turning, like a merging lane, to get around everybody and go swerve between traffic. I thought for sure I was going to see an accident before I went to work today. Yeah. No blinker, of course.
Right.
Yeah, for all 4 lanes.
But yeah, the root of the problem is the education surrounding driving, and maybe drunk driving as well.
Like I have no problem with strict laws when it comes to like making things safer, but when you just put a blanket statement speeding, and then you don't address any of the other problems, that like
it's a scapegoat. You've chosen your scapegoat,
right?
You've created the data that you want to make your point. That they were trying to make a point. We should put up more speed cameras. How do we do that? It kills as many people as people drink driving. Boom. Put out that information. It looks scary. It gets counties or whatever to buy into it. Okay.
Yep.
It's that simple. What's next?
We can move on to another study that we're going to talk about.
This baffles me.
This study claims that a long commute makes you dumber.
How did they come up with this?
This is a weird one, too, because when you read through the data, it says they chose... So the people that they chose for this study, there were already people in that group that had long commutes, which makes sense, because if you take a decent subsect of the population and you try to randomize them as much as possible, some people are going to have long commutes, some people are going to have short. The people who had long commutes were already dumber when they gave them IQ tests. Yep. And they said they kept getting dumber. And I was like, what?
So their baseline is almost like they picked them. They're like, well... You're dumber already.
I don't know if they picked them, but it seems weird to... I mean, does it support the thesis? I'm not... Maybe it does, I'm not sure. But the people who had long commutes were already stupider, so...
Maybe they just
weird.
Started out not... I mean,
or maybe
IQ is a moving target for... Yeah. Like, not everybody... We aren't all born with the same IQ, and then what we do as we go through life changes that number.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. So, maybe they weren't...
Well, I'm wondering if maybe the conclusion is not that commutes make you dumber, is maybe dumb people choose long commutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like flip it around the other direction, because the people who had long commutes were already stupid, and now they're more stupid.
So if I have a long commute, and I move,
and
commute is now shorter, do I become smarter?
I don't think that was included in the study. There's too many variables.
And I think if you follow the way the study is written, you're like, well, if you're a truck driver, you're going to be...
You're a moron.
You're going to be brain dead by the time your career's over.
Well, the stereotype that our country has decided to put on those, that fits.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
No, I don't either.
No, I don't think anybody here.
Well, I know lots of career truck drivers who are not.
And then
idiots.
I think there are people that drive that listen to this. We're not saying you're stupid. Don't get me wrong. It's just they're saying you're stupid. Whoever this is,
it's a ridiculous thing.
Well, it is an interesting.
I don't understand, because they went on to say that driving for 2 to 3 hours in like commuter traffic, or I guess if you're commuting 2 to 3 hours, they didn't say what type of traffic. They say you're basically killing your brain. It's like watching television where you shut your brain off and you just mindlessly watch a box. But if you're on a computer working, somehow that's different, and you actually get smarter.
Yeah, they said if you're doing something on a computer, it makes you smarter.
While you're driving?
No.
Well,
just in general.
I don't think so. I think that goes back to the study above where that ends up in a crash.
So if I'm at work working on my computer for 8 straight hours, that would somehow make me smarter than if I watched television for those same amount of time. Because think
about what most people do in their jobs. I mean, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Think they're getting smarter?
There's at least a small portion of people who are listening to this on YouTube at work.
If you're a real desk jockey, give me a real honest answer here. You really think whatever it is you're doing at work is making you smarter?
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you are improving yourself at your job every day. Hopefully you get better at your job bit by bit.
I would hope that as well. But I am jaded because I have had like real desk jockey jobs for very short periods of time, because I thought I was gonna my head was gonna explode with how mind-numbingly terrible it was.
Did you turn 28 in the last week?
No, it's coming up though.
Yeah.
28's coming up 2 months.
He says I'm very jaded about this. So I didn't realize you turned 28 in the last week.
2 months. 2 months till I turned 28.
So you say driving long times makes me stupid.
No,
right?
Commuting specifically.
They don't specify
whether
commuting
it's driving
means.
or commuting. Okay,
and
then you said also that watching TV makes me stupider.
Yes,
right. So what happens when we have autonomous cars and people are commuting while watching TV?
I think you'll screw drooling. I think.
But
What's that one movie?
Idiocracy.
Yes.
It'll become Idiocracy.
But
you'll be watching Ow My Balls in your Tesla.
Yeah. But I want to know what they define as commuting. Because, if I'm driving in Los Angeles traffic from San Diego every single day and I'm taking it, I mean, literally in the car for 4 hours and I'm only moving 20 miles. Yeah, I can see why that would make me stupider because my mind is turning to mush.
Would that make you stupider or would that make your brain, it makes all your synapses fire in your brain because you're sitting there going, fuck, get out of my fucking way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think the stresses of that would wear
you.
And
that's probably what it is.
I thought the point they were trying to make is like if you're just driving down I-80, like say you lived in Iowa City and you worked in Des Moines, which, by the way, I had dinner with a guy on Monday who works at a large insurance company. That is normal.
That's weird. That's
like a daily commute for him?
Yep.
Is a 2-hour drive?
Not for him, but for people he works with. There's a guy that lives in Iowa City, works in Des Moines. There's a guy that he works with that lives in Omaha and works in Des Moines. Think about how stupid that is.
Oh, that's a 2-hour drive from Omaha.
Yeah, I know. It's dumb.
Hard pass.
There are companies in Omaha with jobs, I swear.
Insurance companies.
Yeah, you could. It's called Indeed.com.
It's literally what Omaha is built on.
A headhunter.
Insurance companies.
I don't understand that at all. So maybe the problem is that the people that want that commute are dumb. Maybe that's the problem.
They were dumb to start with.
If you're willing to drive 2 hours
I'm in.
I'm in. Job.
Yeah, let's do it. You're a moron.
I really like the house I have, though.
So it's worth the $30,000. Well, not 30, but it's worth the $10,000 or $20,000 in wear and tear and maintenance and mileage and fuel and shit on my car.
Nope. Now, I mean, if you're commuting 2 hours and you're listening to 1010's podcast every day, then I think you're the greatest person ever. You're smart.
And you're getting
so
smart listening to us for sure.
Yeah. By the way, people that don't know, Omaha and Iowa City, that's just a straight shot, and there's no traffic. You just
it is. There's nothing but
there's
traffic.
Nothing. Yeah, you can just. You can
it's
just
I-80.
straight shot it.
Shitty traffic.
It's literally speed limit the whole way.
Yeah, it's speed limit. But
it's not like if you lived in California.
It's not
bumper
the
to bumper. No.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. Is I can understand somebody lives in California and they don't live that far away from where they work, but it still takes them 2 hours to get there. That's just a way of life there. That living in Omaha and working in Des Moines makes zero sense.
There's lots of houses.
Many.
Between Omaha and
you
Des
could
Moines
literally live anywhere
that
between
are physically closer.
Omaha and Des Moines and be ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lots of really nice little towns along the way.
I don't know.
It's fascinating to me.
So these are dumb people getting dumber by the second, and it doesn't matter what they're doing. It's just
we can't.
They chose to drive that distance, and now
they're focusing on the wrong thing and then coming to the wrong conclusion in the study. It's not. It's
We're all dumb for commuting to work. That's
fine. Let's move on to the next thing.
Porsche is leaving LMP1 as well.
I'm so mad about this. Basically, this is the kiss of death for the LMP1 class. It's over.
Yep, after 2018, there's no way Toyota's sticking around.
But to clarify, there is more than just Toyota and Porsche left in LMP1.
Right.
But they are privateer cars, and they are not the hybrid cars, and they're really not that much, if at all, faster than LMP2 cars.
Right.
So as far as like top tier level LMP racing, it's dead.
Yeah.
And if Toyota goes and sticks it out and goes and wins next year, who cares?
Asterisk next to it, like
yeah, because that's the thing they've been chasing after is like they want to be the second Japanese car manufacturer to win Le Mans. Mazda is the only one who's ever done it.
Yep.
Big deal now.
Yep. Doesn't matter.
They could have a shot in 2018, right?
Yeah.
Because Porsche's going to finish that season. So at least you could say you beat Porsche, but...
Yeah. But I think...
When's Audi done? Do we know?
Audi is done.
They're done.
I don't think their cars are even racing at this point.
But I think the bigger thing here is it's not just that they quit LMP1. It's that literally everyone that's quitting a certain motorsport is going to Formula E.
That was the other big thing I wanted to talk about in this.
And I've said it before where I understand why they would do that. Because the industry is clearly going that direction. Everyone's begging for electric cars, and that's supposedly what everyone wants. So going to racing and getting that technology, using that technology into your cars in the future makes sense. It just sucks that it's killing major racing sports like, LMP1 and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know that Formula E really offers the opportunity to implement your electrical technology.
No, I think
those are very specced out cars.
But I think they're going to try to improve, and they're going to, like, if you can get an extra 20 minutes of charge.
I don't think that they get the opportunity to do that stuff, though. I think they're given a motor and a battery pack, and they just go and race.
Right, but even like, that's not going to stay that way every year. Every year they're going to get better. So every year they're going to be improving the electric technology.
They just want to be on the forefront of that.
Yes.
But I feel like running LMP1, where you are not spec'd, offers you a better opportunity of improving that technology.
Not if your company's going to electric cars. Doesn't mean shit anymore.
I guess. But I don't think Formula E is, because I'm pretty sure that Formula E is like spec class. Everybody runs the same battery pack and the same motor, and you're not allowed to touch it.
For now.
Well, okay, fine, but to my knowledge, no one said, "Hey, we're going to change this next year."
I would be shocked if they didn't.
So I don't know.
There's no point pouring money and stuff into advanced internal combustion technology, it seems.
The other thing is, I think that every few years, especially in sports car racing, those top classes have always fallen. Yeah. Because they'll start a class rule, or they'll start a class, make a bunch of rules, it becomes an arms race. Next thing you know, you've got 3 guys in there dumping $1 billion a year into their cars, and then one backs out because somebody finally realizes this is out of control.
It's too many monies.
And so then they start over. It's just kind of the progression of racing. This is kind of how it works.
Yeah, I can see that.
So Formula One seems to be the only one that's been managed. And really, they don't avoid that. They just change their rules within Formula One, and everybody gets, dumped back to zero.
Yeah.
So my guess is that LMP1 may be dead, but there'll be another class that replaces it, and they'll grab a couple of manufacturers, and they'll come in and race it. It may be DPI. I don't know.
I have no idea. Yeah, I hope so. I would hate to see a high-level racing like that just disappear.
Well, because DPI's got Cadillac, Mazda, Honda. I mean, none of those teams are racing at Le Mans, but they're racing prototype cars here in America. Maybe FIA picks it up for Le Mans.
Maybe they'll have to.
Well, I think they almost have to. You can't just not replace your top tier team or class. So
yeah.
But it is interesting that everybody seems to be running to Formula E.
Especially for something that's not. I wouldn't say it's not well established, but it's still pretty green. It's not exactly a.
It needs a major rule change before I think it's relevant in the way that they want it to be.
I think it's a marketing perception thing. Oh, look at our Formula E team. We're green, and Dieselgate didn't happen. Everybody's standing,
Yeah, because Porsche's right on the cusp of having that happen to them, aren't they?
They've had the 3-liter motor's been recalled, from what I understand, the 3-liter diesel motor. So, but yeah, I think it's just a marketing exercise. I think up until a couple years ago, it's just the whole racing thing was a good marketing exercise, and so a bunch of money got dumped into it. And now that everybody, or the perception that everybody, I think it's more the perception than the actual fact that most people care about green cars. But so anyway, the marketing people think people care about green cars, and so it's like, well, why would we dump a bunch of money into LMP1 when we could put money into Formula E, and then we could brag about that in all of our brochures?
They put a lot less money into Formula E too.
That too.
Well, you know what I mean, though. It's do you pull funding from LMP1 and move it over to Formula E so that you can, but then what happens to your LMP1 team? It's not.
Well, then your advertising, your advertising dollar would go further then.
Yeah, true. Yep.
You could spend $10 million on Formula E, whereas where Porsche was spending $1 billion on,
right. And if you pull
LMP1.
$10 million out of your budget for LMP1, is it worth running in LMP1 anymore? Or should you just put $10 million in Formula E and then ride that pony and save the rest of your money to do other stuff with?
Porsche's LMP1 team was also kind of built on the rivalry with Audi, and now that's dead. They've accomplished what they set out to accomplish.
Yeah.
So it just sucks because I really, really, really like those cars. Those were my favorite class of racing cars out there at this time, since the Delta Wing is dead. Long live the Delta Wing.
What else, Robbie?
We'll wrap this up with some interesting news.
It's local news, Robbie.
You fucked it all up. I was going to introduce it.
Damn it, sorry.
I was going to say, somebody stole a replica Ford GT40 and then spray painted it a different color and got caught driving it around that exact same town. And I was going to ask you what state you thought that was in. Because your first guess would obviously be Florida.
Florida.
But it's not Florida. It's Iowa.
It's Marshalltown, Iowa.
Yeah, local.
Question.
30,000 people.
Question. How many fucking GT40s replicas are there in Marshalltown? Are there 2?
There's got to be 2.
There's 2.
There must be 2, which shocked me.
Right, because they're on the news like, there can't be another one of these in the fucking state. I'm like, there's one in Marshalltown.
There's one in that town.
Yeah.
I've raced with him.
I was like, I've seen him. He's been there.
I saw him put it into a tire wall.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? I thought it was that car. I was like, oh, the guy put it back together.
That's what I was saying earlier. I was like, well, maybe he did put it back together and painted it yellow. We don't know that.
Well, this one looked like a show car.
This is different.
There were pictures of this car.
It's a different kit.
It is a different kit.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because the rear end is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I was seriously like, what the fuck?
I have pictures of that other one.
Yeah, I got a
Weird.
picture of the blue one on my phone. I remember seeing the blue one, like, it was kind of beat up. But this yellow one that got stolen was, show quality.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen it before.
So anyway, thief steals it out of this guy's shed or whatever it is.
Well, what was interesting to me when I read the article, and I couldn't find anything about specific timelines, but the article said that the guy showed up at his storage unit and realized that the car had been stolen. So the question now becomes, how often did he go to that storage unit, and how long had it been gone for before he even realized it?
Yeah, I don't think
it could have been gone for
an
extended period of time.
I think since he reported it and it was found, it was like a week.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't know when he stole it. Yeah. It didn't say that.
The craziest thing about it is the guy stole it and kept it in that same town.
And was driving it.
A town of 30,000 people.
Yep.
Don't forget that.
So his thought process is, I'm going to steal this car. It's going to be just like Grand Theft Auto. I'm going to take it home. I'm going to paint it a different color, and no one will fucking know.
It is just like Grand Theft Auto.
He literally went to AutoZone and bought black spray paint.
Flat black paint and just rattle canned it.
Yeah. Badly.
What I thought was super funny, the very first Jalopnik comment, should have painted it camo. Oh my God, that was super funny.
They would have never seen it.
Yeah.
But
what a
why would
dumbass.
you drive it?
Did you see the picture of the dude who's like a meth head?
Doesn't spread.
Welcome to Iowa.
Shocker.
Yeah, fucking Marshalltown. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah.
Worth it.
But yeah, it's just absolutely insane. Criminals are dumb. I bet he commutes like 4 hours.
I bet he's got a long commute.
That guy chose a 4-hour commute, I bet you.
He drives to Iowa City every day.
So anyway,
Yep.
just weird deal.
If you're gonna steal a car, don't drive it around at your hometown.
Or if you're going to do that, steal a Camry or a Civic or something.
The one of 2 in the state.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll steal it and paint it black.
Don't steal a
No
car
one will ever know.
that sticks out like a sore thumb.
You would have been better off stealing a new Corvette.
Yeah,
Yep.
there is literally
Any
almost
other car.
no car that would stick out more than that
Yeah, GT40 rep.
in central Iowa.
Yep.
I mean, seriously?
Yep.
Yeah, the people that caught him were like, "Oh, I recognize that car. That's whatever his
So and
name's
so's car.
Yeah.
He worked for the state or something. He's either like a state or a federal or a county employee.
They posted
They're
on
fucking idiots.
the police department posted it on their Facebook page, and multiple people are like, I saw that car driving around on this street and this street intersection. And, oh, yeah, I saw that car leaving town on Saturday morning. Thought it was weird.
Yeah, he was literally just driving it around for like a long
period of time, yeah. Why wouldn't you strip it and sell parts?
Do something.
You're a fucking idiot. Come on, get rid of the evidence. God.
It's worse
Worst
than like
criminal
when people
ever.
steal cars and then just throw them up on Craigslist. Like, he just drove it
He
around.
just drove it around. He
He
just figured he
stole
wasn't
it
going to
to-
get pulled over.
Oh, I took the VIN numbers off. They'll never know.
Takes a special kind of moron, I guess. I
Yep.
don't know. It doesn't make me feel good about like humanity in general, the future. You know, Idiocracy again, that whole thing.
Yep.
You haven't seen Idiocracy,
Of course
you?
I have.
Oh, wait.
yeah.
Have you both
No,
seen
I've
it?
seen it.
Okay. Somebody else hasn't seen it. I was like, bro, it's basically a documentary from the future. You need to watch that
It was
shit.
supposed to be funny. It's
not funny.
It's
That
not
shit
funny
is
anymore.
terrifying.
It's a horror movie.
You watch that movie and you're like, what the fuck? It's got Dak Shepard in it.
Yep.
He's got a
He's a huge car guy.
He's got an LSA powered
Caprice
wagon.
Yep.
It is fucking sick. I think it has gold BBSs on it too.
Nice.
Dude's got it figured out.
The dude's one of my favorites.
You should call that guy, see if he wants to be on the show.
Hot
he might
wife,
be on the
cool
show.
cars.
Kristen
Is
Bell.
there a better life?
He's a cool dude. There's no doubt about that.
He basically did one of the movies that he did just so that he could drive his cars in an illegal manner legally.
Smart.
That is.
Taking a page out of Steve McQueen's book.
Yeah.
That's a card many of us won't get to play. But good on him.
Yep.
Good on him. Is that it?
Yes, please.
Let's wrap it up. Peace.